Hi guys, it's Kat. Today, I'm showing you how I built this beautiful mid-century modern inspired dining set. The design is inspired by this dining set from Casterly, and it's so refined and elegant. I love the curves and the simplicity of the design. And whenever I love a piece of furniture, you know I have to recreate it in miniature. Let's get started. If you're making this by hand, here are the shapes you need to draw. I take some graph paper and make a 2 3/4 of an inch by 1 3/4 of an inch rectangle. Then 1/2 inches from the bottom, I draw a green horizontal line. Then draw another horizontal line 1/4 inch beneath that first one. 1/4 inch from the right side, mark a diagonal line to the bottom right corner. These will be guidelines. Then I sketch out the shape of the chair in black. This is the chair back and the legs. The original green horizontal lines make up our seats. For the chair seat back, draw a 3/4 of an inch by 1 1/2 inch rectangle. Add curves to all the corners. For the chair seat, draw a 1 1/2 by 1 1/4 inch rectangle. 1/8 of an inch from the top left corner, draw a line diagonally down to the bottom and curve it inward. Do the same for the other side. I'm coloring in the shapes that we need in green. This is just to illustrate what the shapes will look like. That's it for the chairs. Next is the dining table. For the tabletop, draw a 5 3/4 of an inch by 3 inch rectangle. Add a curve on each corner. That's it. For the table legs, draw a 2 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch rectangle. Then draw a green horizontal guideline 1/2 inch from the top. Add a curve from the bottom left corner upward and to the right side. The rest of the leg is a diagonal line 1/4 of an inch from the left side of the green line all the way down to 1/8 of an inch from the bottom left corner. Those are the shapes that you need. Now you just trace these shapes on wood to cut them out. My favorite way of tracing is this grade school method of covering the back of the paper with graphite and then transferring that to a thin piece of wood by tracing the outline. If you don't have thin craft wood, you can also combine a few craft sticks until you have the width that you need. It's not as seamless as a full piece of wood, but it can definitely work in a pinch. Once you have your outline, just cut the shape out with a utility knife. Do this for all the shapes that we drew. If you're making several of these like I am, we can easily cut out the same shapes with a laser. Using a laser not only saves you plenty of time, but it also helps you create really accurate pieces if you're replicating pieces again and again. I'll just first need to scan these drawings into my computer. For the laser itself, I'll be using this new machine that I got from SandSmart. It's a Genmitsu 20-watt laser, and it's my first ever enclosed machine with all the bells and whistles. By bells and whistles, I mean lights, cameras, ventilation, everything. It comes packaged with most of the items inside the enclosure itself. Since this machine is mostly assembled, all you need to do is slide the laser into place. There are also these legs that you can pull down to increase the height for larger items. It comes with this honeycomb base that helps with ventilation and also protects your work surface. Once you remove the protective film from all the sides of the enclosure, you'll get this gorgeous shiny case that allows you to see inside the laser, but also protects your eyes from the laser beam while the machine is running. I love this ingenious magnetic ruler that sticks to the honeycomb base and helps me position my objects. The fact that it's magnetic is just so smart. On the underside of this lid is a camera that you can use to watch your designs being cut. The machine also came with this air assist that blows air right where the laser is cutting so you get cleaner burn lines and less smoke. You just plug the rubber tube into this nozzle on the control panel. It also has all the standard safety features like a key lock and an emergency stop button. When you power it on, all the lights inside the machine turn on. This feature allows you to work even in dimly lit spaces. I love the enclosure. Not only is it beautiful, it also helps keep smoke at bay and keeps any dust away from the laser. To cut the pieces that we drew, I take the scanned drawing and draw over them to make the shapes more prominent. You can skip this step if you drew this in black instead of green like I did. If you don't want to draw anything on paper, you can also trace right on top of your inspirational pictures. I've shown you how to do this on my computer before, and sometimes I'll do it on my iPad like I'm showing here. However you get there, you just want a silhouette of the pieces you want cut. Once you have the image of all the pieces you need, we can put them into our laser software. I use Lightburn because it's my favorite. I just drag the SVG image file into Lightburn and scale it down. Then I save that onto the memory card that came with the laser. Insert that into the laser and it's ready to go. I'm using this 1/8 of an inch thick craft plywood, but I recommend basswood if you can find it. You can see the layer lines in plywood, which is not ideal, but it'll work for now. Press the start button to start the cut. I always find this step so magical. Once the pieces are cut, they'll pop right out. I don't love the look of laser cut edges, so I'll be sanding all of these down. I use a combination of files and sandpaper to sand all the pieces. If you're painting your table or chairs, you can skip this step. This step is time consuming, but it gives you a really beautiful hand carved look. If you don't have that much time, you can also use a drill with a sanding bit. This little drill is actually a nail drill and works perfectly for miniature projects. I'm able to get into all the crevices and seamlessly smooth out all the curves. After sanding, they really look like hand-carved pieces. To assemble the table, I need these 4 legs and this tabletop. I first mark an X across the bottom of the table to ensure proper placement for the legs. Then glue each leg on those lines with 1 on each corner. For extra stability, I'll also be using these coffee stirrers. Cut a length and glue it to one of the shorter sides of the table connecting 2 of the legs. Do the same for the other side. This is the simplest table I've ever built, and it's my new favorite. For the chairs, we'll first need the chair sides and the seats. Since I'm making 4 chairs, I'll need 8 of these sides. Each chair needs 2 of these sides and 1 seat. Glue one side of the seat to the horizontal area on the side piece. Leave a small gap between the edge of the seat and where the leg starts. Do the same for the other side. Now we just need to add a seat back, which are made of these small rectangles. The 1/8 of an inch plywood that I use for the rest of this project is too thick, so these are actually cut from a wide popsicle craft stick. The seat back needs a slight curve to it. The first thing I do is soak them in boiling water. This will help us bend the wood without it cracking. Let the wooden pieces sit in the water until it cools down. Then I place it against a curved object like this cup. Slowly bend it against the cup. To secure it in place, I'm using rubber bands. Then I let these pieces dry overnight. When the pieces are all dry, remove the rubber bands. The seat backs are now left with this permanent gentle curve. Now glue this to the top back of our chair. Do this for all 4 chairs. As a tip, I like to let my glue dry just a bit and get tacky before using it. It helps any pieces stay where you put them and not slide around while drying. Now you're ready to paint, stain, or varnish your dining sets. I actually love the look of this light wood, so I'm just varnishing them with this clear gloss polyacrylic. If you like a farmhouse style, I would paint this white. And if you like a more traditional look, I would stain these in a dark brown and then varnish them. Another variation on this chair is to upholster the seats. I wrapped this seat in a piece of thin leather just to show you how it would look. The choice is all up to you and you can customize this dining set any way you like. Before we finish up, here's another optional step for underneath the chairs. Cut a small section of coffee stirrer. I'm going to add a slight curve to one side by sanding the wood down. Then glue underneath the seat between the 2 front legs. I do the same for the back legs. This adds some structural integrity to the legs and also helps the seat look more robust. I love how the set turned out and would love to create more pieces in this simple style. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. If you recreate this project, please share it with me on Instagram. I love seeing what you create. I'll see you next time. Bye.